It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. And if you like watching podcasts instead of like regular television, we got you covered. Just search at Tom and Dan Live.
Also, we have a free app. You can get it in your app store. Just search Tom and Dan or Mediocre app. And that is courtesy of our buddy Matthew.
It's also courtesy of the red, white, and blue Toby Keith. I just want to point that out.
And he actually does apps for businesses and people. He is a genius, and he could build you an app, and he will do it at a super fair cost, I will say.
Yeah, and he's a decent human. He will help you out, and he wants to build you a fun app. You need to contact him at
MrMattFred@gmail.com. That's MrMattFred@gmail.com.
Yes.
Just send him an email, and then he'll quote you, and he does a great job.
He does an excellent job. Before we get into voicemails and emails, just real quick, and we normally don't do this, I just want to do a little something serious, a little moment of silence for former member of the American Pickers team, Frank Fritz, passed away today.
Okay.
And I just want to have a little moment. I know how much he meant to everyone that listens to our program. He was a big part of our show for years. And I just want to, just a moment of silence for Frank Fritz from American Pickers, please. Okay, now we can do emails. All right.
Oh, hold on.
First email.
So, is
What?
American Picker still on?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Still bigger and better than ever.
But
you know the only
he
reason...
wasn't a part of it currently.
No, I don't. I think he had left because of health reasons way earlier on. I believe that had happened.
And remind me about American Pickers is these two guys that would go to Hoarders.
We are the American Pickers of podcasting, and I'm Frank Fritz.
They would go to Hoarders.
He's the little chubby guy with he's receding hairline, and he had the beard.
Okay,
and he was kind of, I would say, a little bit more comedic, and silly. And then you had the grumpy, serious, like skinnier guy.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going here?
And so they would go to these hoarder houses and pick through their trash.
No,
and
the chat room's being rude. They're like, he's the fat picker. That's not nice. That's not nice.
Well, if I guess which one died, the fatter. I'm joking. I'm sorry. What the hell? But they'd go and then they'd find something they thought was valuable and then try to undercut the owner, the crazy owner, the hoarder.
It was typically like middle-aged, antique, knowledgeable man versus old hoarder who has barn after barn on his property filled with junk throughout the ages.
What's interesting is the whole premise of the show is going to someone's house. They obviously have some sort of mental illness and have hoarded.
It's all mental illness. Yeah.
And then
now the pickers don't have mental illness.
They're
taking
trying to find. Yeah.
That's what I loved about the show. They were all, okay. There's two things about American Pickers I loved. Number one, they were taking advantage of the mentally ill.
That's my favorite part too.
Number two, and maybe it's my number one. In fact, I'm going to make it my number one. My number one is not the fact that they took advantage of the mentally ill. My number one was that every good antique show, every single one of them, back at home base, they always have a punk rock alt young girl with tattoos categorizing all of their goodies. And she's hot as hell. She's smoking hot, covered in tattoos. She puts on the Rosie the Riveter bandana in her hair. She's got the glasses on. She got the nose ring. She got the big mouth. She got the big bazoombas. And Frank, they get on the, hey, we're coming back to base. We got a wagon wheel. And then she's like, oh, yeah, you got a wagon wheel.
You know what? That's
my number
what
one.
We're missing in our business.
Is a hot goth girl. We need a hot goth.
We had one.
We did.
She quit.
She did quit. That's the thing about hot goths. They burn hot. They burn hot.
And they're like, I'm tired of these old men.
They're like, you misogynistic little piece of crap. I'm like, I can't change my ways.
So do we need a new...
We need a hot goth.
Hot goth.
Yeah. That'll keep little Danny, a.k.a. Frank, alive a lot longer. I'll tell you that. If you want me to be here for the duration, you should probably get a hot goth in
I
here.
think it'll make...
How do we get a hot goth?
It'll make me
Can Tracy
happier.
goth it up?
Well, she has to work remotely.
No. It's just a shot. They were never together in the show. You never saw Hot Goth with Frank, and I can't remember. It's got to hurt the other guys.
Well,
It's
what's
gotta
the
hurt
point then? You need to
you cut.
them working around so
No,
you
cut.
just
It's
show
just
up.
a
You're like,
cut.
hello.
It's just a cut back to it. She's like, I'm here. I'm categorizing the wagon wheels. It's like, okay. And then the little cleavage,
Yeah,
the little tattoos.
But then I was saying we need the hot goth in our studio so that it brightens up our day. Wait, if there's a remote, then I guess it's good for
it's good for the
TV
listener.
and
It's good for the listener.
the social
the
media.
Viewer. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, R.I.P. Frank. That's all I'm saying.
So back to taking advantage of the mentally ill.
Okay. Thank you.
What is comedic to me is they go to the barn. I mean, everything is hoarder.
Some of these
crazy.
people can't talk, those are the ones that make me uncomfortable when it's just a nod or a
And then they find some old Coca-Cola sign that was like the original.
This is an old Unicol sign.
Yeah.
This is an old, remember old 76 station? My dad would only get gas from a Unicol 76.
Or they find the old metal sign of the original Coca-Cola Santa Claus that started.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying?
It's commercialization.
It started the Santa that we know today.
Yeah, the Santa craze.
Like that started, and they're like, this sign is one of 100 that they printed
in Atlanta.
At
the actual bottling plant. It was used during the World's Fair.
And like this sign, by collectors, it's worth $30,000, right? So then, but then they pan over.
And it's usually you. That's usually the skinny guy. Frank was always I always thought Frank was a mensch. He was a nice guy. He didn't seem to take advantage of the mumbling old man as much as the skinny guy would. The skinny guy would always be like, for the sign. So what's the lowest you'll do? They always do that. What's the lowest you'll do for the sign? And the old men are like, I'll give it to you for 90.
Yeah.
And then
he can hardly talk through his mentally illness.
I'll give it to you for 90. And then Frank would be like, I don't know. And then the other guy would be like, 85, you old man. Like he gets it.
Yeah, and what's funny is
he's like 89. I'll take $1 off, you stupid old man.
And they just talked about how it's worth $30,000. so
he can't hear that.
So no, I know. But as an audience,
Mike
we're
Wolf,
like,
thank you, CD Sarah.
You're like, wait a minute, like this is
Mike Wolf and Frank Fritz.
I understand it's business, but you're taking advantage of like $30,000. You're getting it for $89.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and then they get it back.
Some people do this and they go to jail.
America
America Pickers, they literally have a television show about doing this.
There are also a lot of senior citizens. They're taking advantage of mentally ill senior citizens.
Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to do that. Just the opportunity has never afforded itself.
All right.
Emails. Let's jump into your emails and your voicemails. This one is this is a quick one. This is from Clark. He says, hello, is there a petition somewhere or an uprising against any commercials that have door knocks, doorbells, or any arrival notifications? I'm blanking done with it, and I'm getting rid of my dogs or my TV, but it's a hard choice. Thank you, Clark. You don't have this problem. I don't have this problem because I have a super lazy dog that doesn't know what a doorbell is.
So this person is mad about the door-to-door.
No, just like
solicitors?
like commercials that they'll add in a doorbell. There are a lot of them. I know you don't probably typically watch commercials, but for most people, me streaming, commercials are back.
Their dogs hear the doorbell in the commercial,
yeah,
and then it causes their dogs to go crazy.
I don't know if there's anything you can do about that.
No, but it is counterproductive for the actual marketing of the product if a lot of people are experiencing this and then hate your company because it makes their dogs go crazy.
Right.
Or is it some subliminal thing where your dog's going crazy reminds you of the company and therefore
that's a gamble, right?
A psychological long-term
I think it could go either way.
Effect. Yeah.
It really depends on how it hits on the internet.
Do you remember they outlawed this, but do you remember when they would increase the volume of commercials when they went to break?
Yeah, I still do it with our commercials.
And then
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
If you listen to any of our Friday Free shows, notice our commercials are 3 decibel levels higher than anything else you'll hear.
That's an old school marketing.
You know why I do it? Because we don't have no rules. Can't govern me. I'll make them 15 decibels louder.
I was just telling Daniel.
I don't do that. I'm joking.
I'm like, because we're a small business.
We can do anything we want.
Yeah. We're not afraid of getting sued because we have no money.
Let's talk about what we're really talking about. If anyone out there, I'm talking about anyone listening right now, wants to be our intern, email us, show@tomadin.com. We
Yeah.
can do any type of intern.
Yeah. It
Old
doesn't
man, old lady.
Yeah, you don't have to go to school, earn credits. That
Yeah.
used to be a thing for corporations because
Nah.
they were worried about getting sued.
No, we're not worried
What
about
are you going to do?
Yeah.
You
Come and
could
get us.
sue us. It would just like once the
Yeah, what do you want? My vans with holes in them?
yeah. I mean, we have a little bit of money, but nothing close to anything.
I mean, not enough. It's not a windfall.
You need like millions for it to be worth an attorney's time to sue a giant company. They're not suing mom and pop businesses. They don't have anything.
Well, we don't. We certainly don't. So anyway,
Yeah.
if you want to be our intern, how many days a week are we throwing it out there?
I
Just
don't
a
know.
couple.
Whatever.
Whatever. We want a bunch of interns.
Although it has to be worth.
How about a hot goth?
Hot goth is fine.
Hot goth.
Yeah. Although I do still want the person to actually get value out of the internship and not just be
That's
here.
where we
because
differ. That's where we differ.
No, I know. Yeah.
It's a one-sided relationship here. I don't care. What can you do
Yeah.
for me? What can you do for us? What can you do for the company?
Like if I'm having a meeting and it's just like. Let's say DeBerry Joe, and he's like, I quit
don't
my
want him
lawn
as my-
care job, and I want to just hang out with you guys and laugh.
I love Joe, but I don't want him as my intern.
I'm just like, nah, it's not Joe. You can't hang out with us and just laugh.
I already sold my mower. Well, you
Yeah.
better go have a conversation. Tough conversation.
We need people that want to get into this business of podcasting and small media.
Oh,
and
God.
then
We
we'll
want
show
people
you.
that want to get into a dying business,
No, I think independent media businesses are.
I mean, when you
know,
phrase it like that.
that is a thing that should be thriving right now. It isn't as much as I thought it would be. Although there are a lot of people that are influencers that are just essentially running small media companies
That's true.
that do advertising and subscriptions and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to work with us, and we're not necessarily looking for even in studio, like remote work and stuff.
Yeah, even Robert in our YouTube chat room, he says, "Can I intern remotely from California?" I mean, if you have something that we're looking for that you can offer, absolutely. We're not. Yeah, I'm not kidding when we say that. I mean, we do need help. We are lean. We run things extreme. Like today, we did. We went on site for a client. We filmed a couple of videos. You put together proposals. We we do every job. So yeah, we need some help.
Yeah. And we realized, and it was fine. We were like, we're doing a disservice to everybody trying to do everything, and we need a little bit of help.
We do.
Doing
Doing a disservice to including Frank Fritz. Let's go with this voicemail right here. Came in this morning. I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know.
I don't know if you guys have ever discussed the new Roadhouse. You probably should to a certain extent.
He said, I don't know if you guys have discussed the new Roadhouse, but you probably should at this point. And then he continues. Let's see if we can hear it.
One thing that I can only think about through the whole thing is that Jake Gyllenhaal, as in good of shape that he is, he has this big sister.
I'll translate. Jake Gyllenhaal, for as good a shape as he is in that movie, and I did look this up on Twitter, and apparently a bunch of ladies have said this on Twitter, or excuse me, X.
Okay.
He has a cyst on his back that is absolutely disgustingly distracting.
Okay.
So the whole movie.
He's
and
got a
I've
back cyst?
I've never heard this. So apparently in the movie, the new movie, not the old movie, in the new movie Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse,
Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal has a disgusto barfo cyst in his back, and it makes you not be able to enjoy the movie. It makes you want to
Weird.
Yeah,
Why does he-
there are tons of ladies on X saying now they're like, and they're doing the lady thing, like, oh, I turned on the movie to watch Hotness, which is Jake Gyllenhaal, and he has a barfo cyst on it. You have a barfo cyst.
So why didn't they drain it or get it removed before
I
the
don't
movie?
know. I have never heard
The
that-
director, and he must know, like, hey, there's a gross ass cyst on my back. It's distracting, right? Like, that is. Is there a video or
I
like?
looked it up, and I looked it up, and I cannot.
Still pictures?
No, there's no pictures of it anywhere, dude. There's not. Like, I tried to. Here, let me see if I can go here. Jake Gyllenhaal search, and
this guy
this
saw
is the only one I could find, and it's a Steelers tattoo on his back. But like, I don't see the cyst. But yeah, tons of people talk about it. Here's another photo of the weird. That's the Conor McGregor one. I can't find it. If anyone can send this to me, show@tomandan.com. I can't find it, but it's all over X. Like, everybody's talking about, like, oh, yeah, I can't watch the movie. He's got a gross, got a barfo cyst at his back. You ever had a cyst?
I had a goiter in my neck after my wisdom teeth got taken out.
That's right, you did have a goiter. And that's an old man's game, the goiter.
And I have these...
I had a sebaceous cyst on my scrotum.
Oh, on your scrot?
On my scrot.
Oh, that's
you didn't need
real
to say
gross.
you didn't need to, on your scrot! And it reabsorbed itself.
Oh, you didn't have to do anything?
It just went away.
I've got these hard balls in my neck.
Oh, yeah, those are cancer balls.
And I can move them all around, and they can go, like, they're just hard balls. They've been in there.
Tonsil stones? You got tonsil stones.
No, I don't know.
Open them up.
They've been in there for 35 years.
Oh, yeah. Andrea had those. They stink. She has stinky tonsil stones in her mouth.
No, I don't got no stinky stones.
Oh, you got stinky tonsil stones.
No.
If you can move them around, you got them stones, dog.
No, they're in my neck.
Yeah,
in my
that's
throat.
That's your tonsil stones.
No, the tonsil stones are like you can access them in your throat.
You got a yuck mouth. You got a barfo.
My dad had a back cyst.
My dad did too.
On the middle of his back.
My dad had one, and it looked like a volcano. And then every once in a while, if you don't like this kind of stuff, just turn it off. I get it. Every once in a while, he'd have my mom push on it and get stuff out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, you guys are disgusting. Like, I remember having a conversation with my mom and dad and being like, because my dad is not a doctor's guy. So I remember even as a young boy telling him, like, why don't you just go to the doctor and get it taken? Like, I'm a pretty logical person when it comes to, like, that's gross, go to the doctor.
No, and he was like, no, I don't need to go.
No, he's a real man. He's like, no. So he had that cyst until he died. It was like one of those Dr. Pimple Popper ones.
Yeah, you just get your wife to
smash on it.
Smash on it
every Tuesday. She'd smash on it. Yeah, and then they'd go out for a seafood dinner. That's disgusting. That is really, really barfo. Let's do another email. This one is from Yogi. I want to see where you land on this one because I didn't write this guy back yet, but I should have. You were talking on AMT today.
Is this Yogi Bearcraft?
It is Yogi Bearcraft.
That's his actual name. And every time I see it, I laugh and laugh. And then I think I'm actually talking to a cartoon bear.
It loves to picnic a basket.
And then I said,
I like a picnic basket.
And then I want to ask him, is that your real name? And I'm like, I've already asked him that 5 times.
That's the only thing you write back to him about.
Your real name is Yogi Bearcraft.
It's a great name.
All right.
Yogi says, you were talking on an AMT today about getting your name out. Below is an email I wrote a long time ago and didn't send. Wasn't sure how it would go over. High thought. Would anyone hate it if your stickers and magnets had a small .com next to the Dan? Would it get you more BDMs? Heck, even small on tees or hats. I wouldn't mind if it could benefit you guys. Your shirts and magnets are all over the place. Love the show, Yogi. We deliberately did not do that because we thought people were smart enough to figure out that we would have a website, right?
So my thought process, this could be totally wrong because I'm wrong a lot. But I remember that Tony Palmiotti a long time ago was saying, like, why don't you put tomandan.com on all this ass that you're
stupid old man. You stupid. You're so old and you don't know nothing about the world and get out of my sight.
I think nowadays if someone sees a Tomandan and then is even motivated at all to be curious of what it is,
stupid.
I think they would have the common sense just to go to Google and then just put like Tomandan. And our stuff does pop up.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, if you put Tomandan Orlando, 100%, you know. So
it actually just pops up a picture of Gyllenhaal's cyst.
Or if you just said, what is Tomandan, Florida, like our stuff will pop up, right? So it's like, and if they're not motivated to do that.
So who's right?
What?
So who's right?
I'm right. I know I'm right.
I love it. That's fantastic.
No, but like it does make sense. Like if you see Tomandan magnets and then you say to yourself like, wonder what that is, and then you're like, well, there's no way to find out. Like, does someone actually say, well, it doesn't say a website, so I have no idea.
Tomandan. I wonder if I type in tomandan.com what that. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You think they would do that?
They're like, it doesn't say .com, so I'm not going to even risk it. They're
Tom and Dan. It's gay, guys. Bye.
I can't risk the search. Like, do people say that? Is that a thing? Like, if they don't see, because to my point, I thought if you put the website, it almost ruins it.
It corns it up.
Yeah, it's because
Then it doesn't look like an actual piece of merchandise. It looks like something we would have thrown out at a radio station. It was almost like a knee jerk from where we came from. Because everything we got from the radio station had some stupid long call to action on it or some web address.
Although now I want to do a long rectangle magnet that
this long.
That is like HTTP.
HTTP://S for security.
Yeah. Then TomandDan.com, like the whole
/registration.
Hyperlink, like the whole hyperlink in blue, long. Yeah, and then
I like
put those out.
I like that. Keyed Up Medium from our Twitch chat room. Thank you for being there, buddy. He says, I went to the current seafood counter in College Park yesterday and asked them for a Tom and Dan pint glass. They had no idea what I was talking about. All right.
Yes.
Working.
Well, it's
working.
yeah.
Yes.
That's what we wanted.
Yes. Hold on. Let me get that up. Oh, no. Oh, no, it died. It's all breaking today. Let's try.
I love it when that happens.
Let's try this voicemail right here. It's from our very good friend Jim.
Tom and Dan. Jim from Lakeland here. My honey and I have enjoyed Halloween Horror Nights year after year for forever now. But one of the houses this year caused a little bit of controversy. The theme of the house is Van Helsing's hot granddaughter going after Dracula's hot granddaughter, the werewolf's hot granddaughter, the mummy's hot granddaughter, and I think Frankenstein's hot granddaughter. But at one point in the haunted house, you turn a corner and you are attacked by the werewolf's hot granddaughter in werewolf form, which brought up a question that I think you guys are qualified to answer. How many boobs should a female werewolf have? Take care, guys. I love you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that's it. You know what, Jim? You bring up excellent questions. How many werewolves should... Hold on, wolves. I said wolves. It's wolves, right? Wolves.
Yeah,
I said wolves.
See,
how many werewolves? That's my Florida coming out.
See, so the werewolf...
when they change, they get bigger, so it rips their clothing off, right?
Yes, but there are a humanoid wolf, which means that they often have
humanoid wolf.
Yeah, no, they often have like a
a smooth Total Recall 3.
Well, they have I mean, their torso is hairy, but it's like it has pecs and a six-pack. In the normal werewolf, you know what I'm saying? So then
but normally they grow the hair for the men werewolves. They usually grow the hair down there like extra long, where his wolf peen is kind of just,
Yeah, it's hidden by the hair.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is tried and true. If you don't want to show that, you do the long hair.
Or when it rips his pants, they get cut off of the jeans, shorts,
like,
which doesn't make
thin waist.
Which doesn't make any sense because you got bigger and it ripped your bottom part of your leg pants off.
No. You'd have Mondo calves. You'd have Mondo calves because we rip it off and then you'd have a tiny waist like a human.
It ripped the waist part off first. Anyway. If anything, the only thing left should be the bottom part of your leg.
Yeah, you should literally just have the calves on.
yeah. It'd be opposite. And you're ding dong.
And it's humongous.
Now, would you have intercourse with
that's the dumbest question.
a female werewolf?
Oh, right. As in my current form?
Yeah.
Or as a werewolf?
Well, no, she's a werewolf, and then you're a human.
I'll have sex with anything.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Just making sure that we're still business partners.
I mean anything. If I'm trapped in an elevator and then a Fuji water bottle falls from the sky, I'm like, well, it's you and me, bub.
Yeah. And I'll be holding her werewolf head because it's bite crazy. Holding her ears like, calm down.
I love you.
No, I won't do that. I'll just be like, let me finish here.
Netflix and chill, man.
All right.
Let's try. Did we answer his question?
I don't even know.
No, we didn't. How many boobs?
Oh,
I think you go with the standard.
Yeah, it has two humanoid-like boobs.
Yeah.
And then the rest, the werewolf head and the late werewolf legs.
And then a lot of hair. You know what's something that I find the creepiest in all horror movies, and this is just an aside?
Yeah.
Naked witch. Can we stop with the naked old lady witches? where they have like long ones that swing around the swamp hag. I'm not a fan of the swamp hag.
Yeah,
they do it in a lot of video games too, like in the Witcher video game. A lot of naked old lady witches with big old swingers. They don't do that. It's horrible.
They did this in Game of Thrones with the red woman.
Yep, they do it a lot.
Where all of a sudden,
yes!
She takes off her ring or whatever the hell, and then she turns into her true form, an old hag.
Yeah, swamp hag.
Yeah,
the old,
with long tees.
Yeah, the cave hag.
And then you're like, oh, she was an old swamp hag the whole time.
No, I don't like it.
But in her young magical form, I go back.
I wonder,
maybe even the swamp hag.
Yeah, I would. But you know, I think about that, and I'm like, you just look like the red witch. Like, you just look like it. I bet you when we get down to brass tacks, it feels like a hag.
No, okay.
So, you know what I mean?
Oh, when you,
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This feels old. Yeah, you know, like, you look great.
All right, just don't touch it. That's what I would say.
We're really skirting that line. Okay. Let's go back to emails here. We haven't done a mail on here in a while. I'm gonna give us some flowers here. This is from Scott. He said, "Hey Tom and Dan, I wanted to let you know how much I enjoyed the Edwin McCain interview. It's possibly one of the best phone interviews you've ever done. I actually listened to it twice and plan to look up the book he mentions along with a Branford Marsalis video for students. It would be great to see if you guys could get him to come in to the studio next time he's in the Orlando area. Keep up the great work. Final thought, I absolutely loved hearing Sam back in the studio again on the Friday Free Show. All the best, Scott from Vermont."
All right. Well, I'm
glad you liked it.
Yeah, glad you liked the interview. We get mixed reviews with interviews. Some people don't like any interviews, and they tell us they're like, if I see an interview, I just skip it.
Yeah.
And then other people really like them. And we try to do a good job with them, and we think it offers a balance. Like, believe me, if me and Daniel thought just coming into here and just talking to each other every day, it would be way easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
But then there's no, balance to that. And then I feel like you need diversity with everything so nothing gets stale, right?
I agree. Yeah.
If we just did voicemail, email all the time, like me as a listener, I'd be like, change it up a little bit. I need some variety here.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we do try to do that. We try, like, if we feel like something's, been too much, we try to pull back on it. Like we do. We try to be aware of those type of things. So,
and with interviews, like, we also try to stay away from just plugging whatever the person wants to do. Like, we really do just want to have a conversation with an interesting celebrity. And because every celebrity is interesting in some way, just like every job is weird in some way. And then finding what that person wants to talk about from their perspective, from whatever they do, is interesting to us. And then, like, Edwin McCain, if someone said that to you, you'd be like, hey, John McCain's son or grandson?
Right. Yeah. Who is that?
And then you start going into, like, the hit and, like, a musician, and probably a lot of our listeners didn't even know.
Well, they know the song, and when you see him with the name, you might know who he is. But he's definitely one of those guys that just kind of floats. And he can be super famous when he needs to be, or he can be, like, absolutely, you may not even know who the hell he is.
Yeah.
Which is actually probably for his own life a pretty good career, to be able to just be normal when you want to be normal.
Well, when you reach, and obviously there's advantages to this, but when you reach the point where you are recognized by every person everywhere, like, that is a jail sentence to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where you no longer can live a normal life, and it's like, ugh.
It's in the forefront a lot right now. We haven't talked about it, but pop music sensation and probably the hottest female singer right now, Chappell Roan, that's basically what her complaint is.
Oh, really? I don't even know. I've never heard of that person.
Well, Chappell Roan's been so popular at Lollapalooza, and then just with her hits, Pink Pony, and like all these different like songs that she's been putting out, that it's almost like her stardom. She's one of those ones that, like, super fast, right? And she's one of the only new artists that's been coming out and saying, like, I don't want this, I can't handle this, don't treat me this way, I need boundaries. And I don't know. I go back and forth on it, because sometimes I feel like if you're going to say that, maybe take a step back and try not to. Like, when I saw her statement on this, it's very reactionary. It's very much like what I would do. It's very much like just turn the phone on, look into the phone, and talk accurately, right? about
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you feel. But sometimes when you do that, I think sometimes it can come off like you're being a bit of a prima donna, or you can come off like you're just being reactionary.
Yes, yeah,
But
yeah.
but I honestly believe in this case, and I've taken some heat about it even on Reddit and different places. I think she should have taken a beat, pulled back, and not addressed it publicly, because when you address it publicly, people are going to fault you for it and think, well, look at this bitch.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair either. So just keep it inside and still set your boundaries, but you don't need to tell people you're setting the boundaries. Just set it. That way they can attack you more. That's kind of how I thought about it.
Yeah. It's like suing a company for putting out a sex tape no one knows about yet. And it's like, you are announcing to everybody that you have a sex tape, like so.
Yeah.
So like by saying
Her
hey,
boundaries are needed. That she's right.
but that will not help
No.
create the boundaries you
Correct.
want. That will only make your fans feel like you are unappreciative of being famous, right?
Yeah, and some of the things she said, like.
By the way, look who your audience is. They are not famous people. So they're not going to understand or
See, a lot of the chat room disagrees. Like she's keeping the same energy. I respect it. I disagree. She should be vocal and set boundaries. That's not what I'm saying. I definitely think she deserves boundaries. Everybody does.
But you think that's going to help?
I just think there's better ways of handling it, and I would never get on the TikToks and look right into the camera and say things like, when I'm dressed up in my outfit, I'm working. You don't deserve anything from me. When you're making statements like that, you are 100% alienating the people that care about you, because they have an incorrect fantasy version of their friendship with you.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you could have respected yourself and the relationship better. That's just my point.
And I truly believe by making that announcement, it will not help you alleviate this problem you have. Because the people that see you, you understand, like when you are a famous person, people are like, oh, well, like they don't see you as an equal or equal human. Obviously, like it's a weird psychological thing that you see someone famous, you're like, oh, and nowadays you just want a picture with them. I saw they were showing Roger Goodell, right, which is the commissioner of the NFL. And he was at a game or something, and it was like the pregame, and he was on the field. And the amount, and they were just like, they had the camera on him as the announcers were just telling the story or whatever.
Yeah.
And through the 2 minutes they had the camera on him, I'm not joking, 15 different people just ran up to him and then did a selfie. And it was the weirdest interaction I've ever seen, because they weren't like talking to him or like, hey, whatever. It was just like, oh, selfie. And then and it created a line.
Yeah.
And then it was just like selfie after selfie after selfie. And then like the guy just had to like smile and everything. And it was a weird, and this and you could tell he was trying to get away from the crowd.
Yeah.
Because like anytime he was in public, that everybody just wants a selfie with him. And it's like, that is like, even if he made an announcement like, hey, stop doing this, I don't think that will stop.
No.
And it'll just make you look like a D-head.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, what's the problem? You can't just smile for a selfie?
And it was like 15. Here's the funny part is that when you say like, hey, like the way you're handling this looks like, it's like, I don't know, maybe you could have taken a beat and done this a different way. When you say that, immediately people go like, oh, how dare you? Oh my God. They said, no, you have no idea what I'm saying. I'm trying to make the best path for everybody. Like the least amount of burning things down. And so many of the comments in the chat room are like, woman don't owe you S. No, nobody said they did. That's not what anybody's saying. Like, I'm just saying, when you come out on video and you say things like, when I'm dressed like this, I'm working, and we don't owe you anything. That's that is the type of attitude that I look at. I look at that in art, and I go like, oh, no.
Well,
yeah, you're not.
Well,
no,
what are
no,
you
no.
doing?
Who do you think you are? Get the hell out of here with that garbage.
Yeah, and of course, he shouldn't owe you anything,
No.
but that's not how this works.
Yeah,
You know,
you
like-
don't understand the exchange of energy here.
Yeah,
And of course
you're
nobody
a
should
celebrity.
touch you. Of course nobody should touch you
Yeah.
if you don't want to be touched. Of course nobody should harass you. Nobody should stalk you. Nobody should dox you. Nobody should do any of that stuff.
Yeah, but you're in the wrong business if you think that it'll never happen if you just say, hey, cut this out.
Hey, knock it off.
I want to live a normal life without all this that comes with celebrity. It was like, well, that is not how it works because it can being a celebrity.
But there are so many.
Christine
Christine made this point in our chat room, and I think it's a great point. There are so many celebrities out there right now that have set boundaries and have disappeared. We don't even know where they are, what they're doing. They control their lives perfectly without having to go out there and sort of do this like declarative statement. It's almost like leaving a Facebook group you don't like. You know, like you get in there, you're like, I'm leaving. Look, just leave. Just leave. Right. Nobody needed you to tell us all of this stuff. Just go handle your business and put as many boundaries as you need to have the best life you can have. Because that's the only life you have. Like, no one will ever fault you for that.
And guess what? You cannot go to Publix anymore.
No, you're done.
And then expect a normal shopping experience. But that's the price you pay. Look,
that's just my opinion. I understand that everybody's got different ones, but that's just mine on that. It rubbed me the wrong way.
And guess what? There are lots of crazy people out there that are not going to hear what you're saying. like if
they weren't even there for it in the beginning. No, you're right.
And they're not going to get the message. And you got to understand, that you're going to get harassed. You're going to get people that, especially crazy people that have no boundaries.
She's the most famous person in the world right now.
And so it's funny because I've never even heard the name.
How cool is that though? Think about that. Think about
you could definitely go to if you go to St. Cloud, Florida, you will not be harassed. But guess what?
Come to Castleberry 7-Eleven. Tom will buy you a White Claw.
If you go to the Coffee Cup in St. Cloud, Florida, you will not be bothered by the old men in there.
No.
And
blend right in.
But you don't want to go there. You want to go to the hottest nightclub in L.A. And guess what? They know who you are, and you're going to get bothered. And that's how it is, because there's no free lunch. That's the price.
I agree with that. Let's try this one. We got to get out of here in a second.
What's up, guys? Ben with a Y here. Hey, I just wanted to thank you guys for the awesome cruise. It was a great time. This was my first cruise that I've ever been on, and my first Tom and Dan cruise, so it was awesome. My wife had a really good time hanging out with the BDMs and meeting everybody. So thank you guys. I wanted to tell you a quick story about the spa area. So my wife and I, we went down there and we did a couples massage. And when you're done, they take you to this other room, and in this other room, they're trying to upsell you on different merchandise that they have to try to sell you. So first they hit my wife up. She sat next to me, and they're like, this is a lotion for your skin to make it this, and this is something that you could put on to for different aches and pains or whatever. And then she walked away, and then the lady that gave me the massage comes over with fucking fat burning pills. This fucking bitch. I mean, I'm a big dude. I get it. I need to lose weight, but this lady was not holding any punches. She was just like, you need to take these. You take these. I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. I look over at my wife, and she is dying laughing. So anyway, love you guys. It was a great time. Bye.
We love you too. I'm very sorry.
Well, they are salespeople, and they saw an opportunity for a sale.
It's a target-rich environment.
Yeah. It's who you are.
It's like when I'm in the Bahamas and they see me wearing a marijuana shirt and they yell, "Hey, Danny DeVito, do you want some weed?" I mean, hey.
Yeah.
What do you do?
You have to know what you look like.
You got to know what you look like.
Yeah. And I'm, and also the cruise employees are very hardened people. They're not shy.
I mean, if they said that to each other, they'd tighten up. They'd be like, "Oh yes, I will take these pills. I'll get healthy."
They live in cramped quarters in the bowels of a cruise ship. They're from.
Yeah.
I'm guessing an impoverished country.
Some never see their family for years, even.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one cruise we were on?
I don't know how fairly they're treated. Maybe, hopefully fairly.
Oh, I've heard the fairest.
But I'm going to lean towards maybe not as fairly as the United States.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they can compare, can complain about certain rates. I don't know.
No, I don't think they can. We got time for one more.
Okay.
This is from Clay. He says, Dan, Tom, and special guest, if possible, have you ever picked up or seen fancy bougie trash? Just wondering what that looks like as I pick up trash that fell off a dumpster truck in a business plaza. Have you ever picked up bougie trash?
What does that mean?
I guess like around this neighborhood's like I don't know, like something that maybe is being thrown out that shouldn't be thrown out.
Okay, well, I know that
This is a Dan Dennis promise.
Going back to pickers, there are people that go around rich neighborhoods looking for something a rich person threw away because obviously they have a different evaluation of what's trash.
For me, what my definition of trash is? Things I don't want, and that's me being honest.
I have a little bit of an embarrassing story.
Why'd you look around? Okay, we are on camera right now, but if you could go back and Melissa, I don't know if it's possible, but it's almost like you were looking around to see who was watching.
Okay, okay. So there was a client that, let's just say my wife was working with them, and they needed a favor, and they needed us to get some patio furniture out of their house they were selling.
Okay. Yeah. Is this a Porky scenario?
No. It was,
You're just going to hold it for him for a little while?
And then, I would put them in the category of being wealthy, okay?
Okay.
And there was a patio furniture. And then
I remember this.
And then they were like, I just need it out of here because the buyer wants it out or whatever. And then so just do me a solid, whatever. There may be a money exchange. And then, I think because I'm a great husband, the best husband.
The best husband.
I offered to go over there, and then I was like, I'll take this and just take it to the dump or whatever. I had to know what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And then I got there.
You didn't know what you were up against.
And then I was like, hey, this is a nice place.
Hey.
And then I go to the back.
What is this? Hey, who lives here? Saddam Hussein? Holy moly.
And then I go to the back, and I'm like, what? He's throwing this away? Some GD nice patio.
God, that was one of my dad's favorite jokes. There's a lot of meat left in that.
And it is the patio furniture I currently have in my house.
Hey, wait, that's nice for patio furniture.
Yeah, I don't know what I
sit on that patio furniture.
Yeah,
I've sat on that hundreds of football games I've watched on that patio furniture.
And I
never a lot of good meat left on that furniture.
And I never had the balls to ever, and I still talk to this client all the time. I never had the balls to tell him I stole your old patio furniture and I now use it.
I have a dead man's furniture in my home. Has he ever been to your house and seen it?
No.
Did you change the cushions and throw them off the set?
No. It's the exact same.
No, that's a pro tip.
Yeah.
If you ever keep something that somebody was throwing out, just change the cushions.
No,
they'll never know.
But by the way, I am mortified that one day he will come to my house and then he'll be like, wait a minute, is that my furniture?
Yeah.
Hold
on.
Even
though
didn't
you steal my reindeer? Weren't those my reindeer?
Yeah.
They were my animatronic reindeer, and you stole them out of the storage unit, and one of them was broken. And you're like, I have a lot of good meat left on these reindeer.
Yeah. I am Florida trash.
You might have out-trashed me on all of that.
Yeah.
I think you have out-trashed me.
That was an embarrassing story for me.
That's a pretty embarrassing one. I'm trying to think of I can't out-trash that one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right.
We should get out of here.
We will see you tomorrow.
All right. Nice. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Guys, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you. We hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Yeah.
And we will see you tomorrow. And there should be a funny Jeff's Bagel video out very soon. So, yeah. Take care.